I'm nervous.
Setting. Hmm. Okay. Okay. We're good to go. Yep.
Hey, welcome everybody to our Unsung Voices info session from the Toronto Real Asian International Film Festival. My name is Aram C.Y. Collier. I am the artistic director here at the Toronto Real Asian International Film Festival. And we're just here to talk a little bit about Unsung Voices. This is a program we've had for, I think we're going on 13 years. So really excited to have some previous participants. And for you, wherever you are streaming this from, to get some more information about the program. And there will be an opportunity for you to ask some questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But before I get to that, I want to acknowledge that Real Asians offices are located on the treaty territory, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat nations. This territory is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, the treaty of collective responsibility for the protection and sharing of land, water, and resources. I personally grew up on Ramaitosh Ohlone and wetland lands in Northern California and Pueblo lands in Northern Mexico. So, beyond acknowledging land, the communities that we all come from value our histories and our ancestors, and may we all seek to share this land together, and for the betterment of the place that we share for the future and future generations. And so I want to hand this over to Joseph Chung. Joseph Chung is our Unsung Voices lead facilitator this year. Joseph is a filmmaker. Maybe he's going to do his bio. I'm not sure. And he's also um, been leading the Unsung Voices last year and in 2018 and 2019. So he's well versed in the Unsung Voices program. And he will also introduce some of our other past participants. So I'll be in one of the squares on the side. So looking at the chat. So maybe you can take it away, Joe.
All right. Thanks, Aram. Yeah, so my name's Joseph. As Aram said that I've done this in the past, and last year we had a very successful run with Unsung Voices. Um, Carthy and Corinne were two of the participants that were involved last year, and we already have a fan in the chat that they were the best two or two of their favorite films were both of yours. So yeah, welcome everyone. Um, Kathy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy. My name's spelled Carthy, pronounced Kathy. I made you which means coconut in Vietnamese, my first film ever. By day, I'm a speech pathologist, and I'm still a speech pathologist, but I guess by night, I'm a filmmaker now. So, yeah, that's me.
Right. Corinne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kareen. I'm a student and a filmmaker, and I was also part of Unsung Voices last year, where I made the short, The Official Guidebook to Flying.
Right. Thanks. Okay, so I'm gonna show you everyone today's agenda. Let me just share my screen with everyone. Okay, so today's agenda, we've done our introductions. We'll let you know what Unsung Voices is, and we will showcase two of our guests today, their 1 minute of their screeners that they had premiered last year at Real Asian. Some of the program outline from start to finish, and then lastly, we'll answer some of everyone's questions, and hopefully we can answer all questions today. So let's get that. So Unsung Voices, it was founded by actually Aram, who's with us today, and another person named Tony Lau. He's a professor at Windsor University, and I believe this is the 13th the 13th edition of Unsung Voices. So it's been going on for 13 years. And they started out, in a very, small group, and uh, budgeting was very, small, but now it's grown to be a very big organization where we get across all of Canada. We bring in filmmakers from all around Canada, and we've become all, instead of a GTA thing, we've included all provinces. So if you're not in Toronto, that's fine, the GTA. I believe, Corinne, you're from Vancouver. And so don't be shy. Just because it's a Toronto-based location, it doesn't mean it's just for people here. It's for all Canadians. So it's become a global phenomenon, I would say. And so let's go to the two screeners that we had. Corinne, I'm sorry I used that photo, but it's nice. But yeah, so we'll just watch one after the other, and then uh, we'll let you guys hear it. And there we go.
Đã quá con.
Ngon quá phải không? Vừa con lựa đó.
Con mua bao nhiêu?
2 trái 2 đồng.
Mày xạo nữa. 2 trái 2 đồng cái đầu mày á.
Lying is a wonderful thing, but only if you know how to tell the perfect story. As a seasoned professional, making up stories has gotten me out of a lot of situations. You see, My parents and I immigrated here when I was young, and back then, they didn't really speak a lot of English. So, at the ripe age of 7, I decided to exploit this. I breezed through elementary school and high school thanks to lying. Just small things. A few fake doctor's notes here, a few sick grandmothers there. No harm, no foul.
I was a cool cat. Smooth criminal. Lying gave me a rush. It was a natural talent, and I haven't looked back since.
Now that my parents have lived here for over a decade, their English has gotten a lot better. So, I have to be diligent and creative with my lines. 妈妈，我要走了，我去工作。
Right. So a little fun fact, Kathy's actually never made a film before this program. And so this was her first film and it premiered at Real Asian and so Kathy, I was just wondering, what was your unsung experience like being like a first time filmmaker and everything? How did you feel?
It- so it was amazing. It was like the best time ever. I just felt like we had so much support. So I came into this with like zero film experience, never went to film school. I think I took like a 2-month screenwriting course before this, but I'd always wanted to be on a set. But yeah, I felt like the coordinators really cared about us and like gave us everything we needed to make the films that we wanted to make. And they really like they gave us everything we needed to do it ourselves. Like at the end of the day, I feel like it was still our films. Like we did everything from beginning to end, but they just encouraged us to like trust ourselves, trust our like artistic opinions, and yeah, they just wanted us to make the films that we wanted to make, and I just felt really supported the entire time. And yeah, like at the beginning, I had zero confidence, and at the end, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a filmmaker. So yeah, I don't know, it's just awesome.
Nice. Yeah, no, it was a treat working with you because you were like a sponge and you just kind of absorbed everything and was a really good sport about it the whole time. So congratulations on your film again. Corinne, so let us know your experience because I know you were in Vancouver and we couldn't really go there and film with you. But what was your, I guess, your experience like, you know, attending the classes and also like just on your set in general?
Yeah, a lot of what Kathy said, totally, I totally agree with. I felt super supported. All the workshops and meetings are over Zoom, so there was no issue there being in Vancouver. Yeah, Unsung, I think, opened up since like COVID to across Canada, which is really cool. Um, and it was really nice to eventually go to the festival and meet everyone in person, which is a good cherry on top because the cohort was awesome. But in terms of like filming, I still felt super supported, like on multiple occasions as film, is crazy, so it's bound to happen. Things happen, and both the coordinators were able to hop on last minute calls and talk me through it. So even from across Canada, I was really supported.
Nice. Yeah, no, I did want to attend your shoot. I think going to Vancouver would have been nice just to be there, but also help you out. Um, I'm glad your shoot went well, and I mean it shows in your work. Um, and so yeah, there's I think I missed one thing about Unsung Voices. It's essentially for anyone who's interested in making film, and you don't have to be a filmmaker to apply. You can be in any um any art form, and I think what's great about it is you have peers and you have coordinators and mentors that are kind of very experienced in the industry, and they basically guide you from the inception of your idea to the final product of a film, and it even premieres at a festival. And I think that's very worth it. And also, it's just a very good experience to just meet people in the same industry or in different industries. So, um, this program timeline you can actually find on the website. But I just want to point out that the deadline for applications are from April 19th. That's 9 p.m. That's your deadline. And then once, if you do get in and you go through the program, the screening would be November 16th. To delve a bit deeper though into the program, in the pre-production time frame from May to June, um, we'll all be having a group session 2 times a week. We'll figure out the times and dates with the cohort. And this is where we essentially we go through the ideation phase, the script writing, and pre-production. Um, this also is the time where you first meet your mentors. They're like industry standard people who've been in the industry for a long time, or they just know what they're doing. And you have that one-on-one opportunity to meet them, as well as you'll be meeting your coordinators, just so that if you do feel lost or if it's too overwhelming, we can always help you out. Um, Also, in this pre-production phase, we'll be guiding you and providing you some budget and for like production. We don't have the exact numbers, but once applications are through, we'll give you a better number. But essentially, you have three different types of budgeting, and that is the production budget, where you can use it on whatever production needs you need. Just keep the receipt. And then we team up with a film house, in depending on where you are in the province. But in here, we'll be teaming up with one or two production houses where they'll give you credit to rent equipment. So you'll be able to rent out camera, lights, sound equipment, and all that jazz. And on top of that, Real Asian will also be giving an honorarium, which you can, use wherever you'd like to. If you need to um, kind of support your production budget a bit more, you can use that towards that. Or you can, maybe if you need to pay actors or whatnot, you can use the honorarium for that as well. But it's up to you. And that's what the pre-production timeline kind of looks like. In the production timeline, it'll be from June to July. So you'll essentially have a month. And here, the group sessions will just be reduced to one per week, because we also want to give you space to just focus on, finding your locations and just getting prepared for the shoot. I did put the recruiting cast and crew here, but you can actually do that in pre-production. If you know who you're gonna cast, or if you already have crew, or like, that you've worked with before, you can all, use them. And this is also the good time to like book your equipment and shoot during this time frame. And the post-production. So this one, you have about 3.5 weeks for post-production. And we'll also be having one class per week as well. This is also where you'll be meeting your mentors and coordinators just to get feedback. But also you'll be getting feedback from your group, your cohort, during these 1 week sessions that we have. And so after the 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks of post-production, Real Asian provides you um, like professional coloring and audio editing for your film so that you don't have to worry about that. And that's what the last week of post-production would consist of. You just go back and forth with your colorist and audio technician and basically finalize your film. And then you submit it, and then it goes up on the big screen on November 16th. And if you have read the website, this year's theme is hope. And so when you have an idea for your film and you present it to us in your application, we would like you to just briefly talk about like your definition of hope. It doesn't have to be right on the nose. So, what does hope mean to you? And so that would be the theme for this year's Unsung Voices your films. And so, think about it, um, and let us know what hope would mean to you. Last year's, I believe the theme was uh or I'm not doing it justice, but the how do you say you could, is it like a release? Is it like a eureka moment? It's up to you to decide what it means to you. Same for this year. And so during the application process, uh, we want to know a bit about yourself and why this program is for you and what it could do for you. And like I mentioned, any experience, you can be in any art form, media art form. It doesn't have to be in film. Um, and just you can apply like without any of that experience. But also, if you are in the industry, and if you'd like to share us a link or some sample work, you can also provide that as well. Um, it doesn't uh, it doesn't matter if you don't submit that option. It's just an optional feature. And for your project proposal for your film, I just want to make sure that everyone knows you don't have to come with a already made script. It's just an idea. And that's what we want to hear from everyone. It's what your ideas are. And so that does take a lot of pressure off of you, because a lot of the times people don't apply because they think that they have to already have like a, you know, thorough script or a very, thorough idea. It can be just like a thought that crosses your mind and you thought, oh, this is a very good idea. Let me propose this. And that's essentially what you have to do. Just let us know in like 250 words what the idea is about. Let us know, who you are. Like we kind of want to know you as well. Um, or you can do that. I think, Corinne, you did this last year. You submitted a video, right? Right. Whatever you'd like to do. You can write it all down, or you could submit a video answering all the questions above. Okay, so we're already at our questions and answers. Um, let's see. Aram, is there a few questions you've picked out during the stream that you think that we could answer?
I have been answering them in the chat.
Oh, okay.
There was a question about Asian identifying international students. And yes, if you're an international student, you are eligible to apply. Um, you do have to attend all the sessions, of course, and have to attend the in-person screening in November. And for folks who are not in the GTA, we do provide for travel and accommodations from within Canada to attend that final screening, and not only just attend that screening, but also attend the festival as a whole. And actually, maybe it's a good chance for Corinne to, what was that like for, kind of working remotely all the time and then coming in for the festival and then meeting people in the cohort for the first time? What was that like?
I would say it was like whiplash in the best way possible. Like the cohort and the coordinators all were just little boxes on my computer for like all throughout the summer. And then in November, Real Asian flew me over, and I was like, "Oh, you guys are real people. That's crazy." But it was wonderful. It was really, really nice to attend the festival in person, see it on the big screen, and meet everyone.
Awesome. Okay, we have another question. It's about the group sessions. Are the group sessions at the same time and day every week? I did answer it in the chat, but maybe if you want to elaborate on that, Joe or Kathy or Corinne, like how you manage that amongst your other schedule, or also time zones, that kind of thing. Maybe y'all can speak to that.
Yeah. So for that, we once we have the cohort established, we kind of get everyone's opinion, like when their availabilities are. So we last year, I believe we had it at 8 p.m. Eastern time because that would be 5 p.m. West Coast time. And we had that on, I believe, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So yes, it is. We do like to keep it at a consistent day and time, just because then people are more they're able to make room, or move thing, or it's already in place so that they don't have to move things around. They just know that this will be the time slot for the classes. So we do ask you in the beginning, what is the best time slot for you? So if it works for everyone, then the times would be set at those specific days and time. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, there was another question. And I'm just gonna answer this. So Wander said, asked, what is the general guideline for length? The general guideline is for 8-minute films. Some are shorter, some are longer, but not too much longer, please, not too much longer. If you think about 6 participants, 8 minutes is about, that's about a 50-minute program. And so it kind of slotted in nicely, and it's a manageable amount that is plenty of time to make what you want to say, and also but give you enough to sink your teeth into. And I don't know if Kathy or Corinne, if you had any more thoughts about the length of the films, of your respective films. I will say too that that is something that we will push you on a little bit, in terms of if it's too long, if it's like way too long. And that's the experience that all filmmakers go through, is to really, get your film to be as effective as possible. And it's not always about just making it short, but you have a lot of considerations to think about when you're making film. So
I can speak to that a
Yeah.
little bit. So I remember my first cut was 20 minutes. And I remember telling Joe, like, I don't think I can cut this down any further. This is like we're just gonna have to beg Aram or something. But then we got it down to 8 minutes, and I think the film works much better shorter, which is like I think it was a learning experience. Like I learned how to tell a story in a more simple way without taking as much time. So like 8 minutes is a very good length. I think it sounds kind of short for how much work we put into the entire thing all summer, but it's a good length. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Kathy. Okay, there's another question from Kat. Well, two questions. Um, Kat is asking, what if I have multiple ideas? And is it okay if the idea proposed from the beginning changes during pre-production? I will just answer that real quickly. With your proposal, it would be best to kind of narrow down to the one that you feel is strongest and represents you the strongest. That said, ideas have changed in the pre-production process, and your idea will always change. If you go back and think about what you originally proposed and what you show on November 16th, it always is different. So that's part of the process. That's part of the fun. That said, of course, it can change, but also it moves very fast. So the more committed you are to an idea and committed to that journey of living with that film, I would say that puts you in a better position just for your own project and your own kind of satisfaction in that project. So I would say to narrow it down. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I can add. My project definitely changed throughout the program. I think the core of it stayed the same. But a big thing you learn is to kind of just let the project be what it wants to be. And yeah, like the writing support from like the workshops really helped with that. And during the editing, I ran into similar issues with as Kathy did. My short was originally 15 minutes, so I had to cut it down. But yeah, it will definitely change, and I think it changes for the better.
Okay. We have another question about the topic of hope, and so can we string the topic of hope any way we'd like? Yes. It's a prompt, so it's not, your film does not have to be literally about hope. It's more when you hear that idea, what does that mean to you? What kind of story will that inspire you? And this is something that we've done for the last few years. Originally Unsung, kind of we would get a whole bunch of things, and we found that like a guiding theme kind of really opened up a lot of different ideas, but unified things maybe in unexpected ways. And so this is what we chose for this year. So because this is something we all need right now. So Tyler, I don't have much experience, so will there be anyone supervising production, not including the mentor and cohort sessions? Joe, maybe you can answer this one.
Yeah. So if you're new and don't have much experience, that's completely fine. You can even ask Kathy after, but there will be someone on set if you need. Most likely, I'll be there during your shoot just to kind of help guide you what to do from beginning to end. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like your experience level on set. You'll always have someone there to help you out. Um, Kathy, was it how was it for you when you first entered the set? Was it overwhelming for you, or what are your thoughts?
Um, I think because we casted and crewed ourselves, like we had control over who we wanted on our sets. So when I was doing that, I was just trying to make sure that I felt good vibes from everyone, and I wanted it to be a very like safe and positive set. And then also because we filmed in my home, I naturally felt at home already. It was like I was like inviting friends to my home. So like that weekend, the 2 day shoot was just like the best weekend of my life. So yeah, it was really nice to have Joe there to just kind of be like backup in case anything happened. But overall, super, super chill, trusted everyone. And yeah, it was a really good time. So because you're guided from beginning to end and like you choose the people who will be there, I think like it'll be a very you'll feel like you can trust everyone there. So I wouldn't worry too much. And also some of us helped on each other's sets. And that was nice too, because like as a cohort, you helped um, with this process. So you know what each other is trying to make with their films. Um, yeah, you just kind of become a family and you can trust everyone and it's nice.
In the chat, Belle had a question about do you get to choose who's on our film crew? So hopefully Kathy's answer answered that question about, so yes, you do get to choose. Let's go back up. So a logistical question from Maverick Jones, just when it comes to editing the film, would we need to access our own editing software, or there's specific software that Relation requires us to use? Maybe Joe, take this one.
Yeah. So if you're already used to a program like Premiere Pro or Final Cut, you're welcome to use that. But if you don't have any preferred editing program, we do use DaVinci Resolve. There is a free version available. So if you do want to prep yourself on, the basics of the DaVinci program, you're more than welcome to. It's just on the website, download, it's free. The only difference with the paid version and the free version, I believe, is I believe it's like sound and music. The more, I guess, professional tools, but other than that, everything else you pretty much have access to 90 to 95% of everything you need. And because color and sound will be provided from Real Asian, that shouldn't be much of an issue. Yeah.
Great. We have another question from Anne. What if I just wrote and produced the film and sourced an outside director, or am I expected to write and direct? It's the latter. You are expected to write and direct and ideally edit your film. This is really meant to be a quote unquote nose to tail experience, and not too much of a total professionalizing and uh, specialization, right? It's meant to give you the whole experience. So you are writing, directing, producing, editing, you know what I mean? To really give you that full filmmaker experience. But maybe, Corinne and Kathy, you can talk about like, how do you juggle those roles?
Yeah, so I definitely had like anxiety over um taking on so much. I had come from dance film previously, so I had never written. But there are workshops each week at the beginning half of the program, and they really do give you a lot of information. And I also had a really great team. I brought on a producer, a really experienced cinematographer. So, although you are juggling a lot of roles, you can still delegate tasks. And if you have a great team with people you trust, you'll make something great.
Yeah. So it was a lot. I agree with Kareen. It was a lot. Um, I didn't get a producer, so I was doing the producer role as well, just juggling all of that. And then I also had a day job too. So it is possible to do this with a day job as well, but it is a lot. I just found myself like just really putting everything into this. So just expect that you're going to have to give a lot of yourself, probably like just time, energy, like emotionally. But in the end, it was well worth it. Like it was just so rewarding. So to write, direct, and do all of that, like I wouldn't have it any other way.
Just to add to that, in terms of the structure of the program, we mentioned that there are mentors, but there are program coordinators like Joseph, like last year, Horace and Jennifer, who are directly working with the participants and acting kind of like maybe as in sort of a producer role or executive producer role. So very involved and helping guiding you with any questions that you might have, any issues that come up. They're really there to support you. So yeah, it's not meant to be a one-person band, like Kareem said, delegating tasks and cleaning up. That's part of the process as well. But yeah, so let's go to, hopefully that answered the question. Let's see. I answered a few in the chat, some quick ones, about age range and how many participants will you take this year? The last couple of years we have taken 6. That doesn't mean that we will take 6 this year, but generally 6. And then when we had 2 years of purely COVID ones, and we had 4 in those years. So probably no more than 6. So down. Okay, Maple. Sessions between July 2nd and 17th. What is general time frame for those sessions? I will be on vacation with family. Joe, do you want to mention that? I think when you mentioned the timeline, July is the primary production time. So I don't know if you want to address this question a little bit.
Sorry, is it the question from Maple?
Yes.
Yes. So for the in-class sessions, it will be reduced to 1. So as long, and also you can attend the sessions from wherever you are. So if you can make it to those sessions, it would be good to try your best. But obviously, if you can't, there's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, it will most likely have to record those sessions just for you, and you can watch it on when you get back or when you have free time. But we do want everyone to be at all the sessions if possible. It just helps out like the morale of the cohort, but it also, it's any questions you have or anything that is taught that day or said that day is, delivered directly to you. I hope that answers your question, Maple.
Yeah, I'll add on to that and just mention, what Kathy said, that it is a lot. It is very intensive. So of course, everybody has lives, and there may be things that you have planned, but expect that, especially when it comes to production, it will be a lot, and it is intense, and that's filmmaking for you. So if you feel like you can balance it, but also expect that, if you do miss some time, you're gonna have to try to make that up in some way. Okay, there was a question from Julian. Does Real Agent have any partnership with ACTRA? If not, will their day rate be covered? For this program, there is no partnership with ACTRA. So that is something that each of you could explore, but there's no official partnership for this. So yeah, and administering that that partnership with ACTRA may take longer than what you have time for. You may not be able to shoot your film waiting for approval. So okay, that comes with that. Can we borrow a computer if our own can't handle the software? Maybe Joe, you can talk about how do we kind of assess people's existing equipment, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so um, we normally will ask you for your computer's like specs and capabilities. And there has been times where in the past some members didn't have a machine powerful enough to handle the editing software. And we they took their time to go down to the library or borrow their friend's laptop and work from there. And we also there is another thing like a workaround that we can do if you have a laptop or a computer that doesn't can't handle the editing software, and that's we do teach you how to make proxies, and that's basically, very easy, simple files that a lot of computers are able to run. But again, if it can't, then there are other available places that the city offers. You can even rent out an editing suite in the Toronto Reference Library. And so there are a lot of options for you to edit your film.
This is a little bit of a segue off of that topic, Joe, but maybe we can talk a little bit about the some of the organizations that we and equipment providers that we've worked with, because that could potentially be another place where people can source equipment.
Right. So in the past, we've worked with Charles Street Video, Trinity. We've in Winnipeg, we worked with Winnipeg Film Group, and we've also worked with I believe Lyft. This was back a while ago. But yeah, in those production houses, they do have computer rentals as well. And they also have like their own studios for you to enter and use their computers for editing. And they have, they open at 9 and they close at 5. So you'll have access to a computer. There's always some way to get access. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that much of a hurdle, I would say.
Just to add on to that, we've worked with Maine Film in Montreal, Cineworks in Vancouver, the Film and Video Society in Alberta. As I don't know their acronym, but that's based in Edmonton. So there are a number of these local media centers that have film and video equipment, both for production and post-production. And we've developed relationships those organizations and those places. And if you come from a place that is not there, there are a number of these types of organizations across the country. And just like Joe said, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. Okay. Melvin, are you required to work with a music composer for your film?
I think that's our Melvin.
Yeah, if you wanna. Yes.
Yeah,
Melvin from last year. Catherine, when we build our crew, are they given an honorarium as well? Okay, so maybe Joe, you can talk a little bit about the structure of the financial structure, the financing structure.
Sure.
Yeah, and then And then Corinne and Kathy, maybe you can just give an example of what you chose to do.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so for budgeting, you can imagine it like three forms of pools of money. And one pool would be a production budget that Real Asian would provide for you. And you can use this for, you can even use it for renting gear. You can use it for paying for location, for your crew meals maybe, or anything that has to do with your production, right? And then your next pool is a credit from the film houses in whichever province you're in, and that they will set aside an amount. You're not going to see the physical money because it will be in credit, but you can, with that credit, use their credit to basically rent out equipment from the film house. And the only thing you can't do is use that equipment credit to finance, let's just say, more of your production budget, because that's not actually a form of actual money. Um, and so just be aware that those two can't be mixed. You can apply your production budget to get more equipment, but it doesn't work the other way around. Um, and finally, the third pool of money would be coming from your honorarium, which Real Asian will provide for you. That is also, I would say, like cash. And so you could use that to, again, buff up your production budget, or, pay your actors, maybe pay yourself, even if you have to. And just that's for your free use. You can do whatever you want with your honorarium, essentially. Um, Kathy, I think you had some things with your budgeting during your film. Can you tell us a little bit about how you used your budget?
I don't know what things you're referring to, but so for me, I I pretty much like used all of the reimbursement, like the production reimbursement, and then I split the honorarium among the heads of department. So that would be like the DP. I tried to keep my crew small, because it was a small space, and also I didn't have enough money to really pay everyone what I would want to pay them. So I paid my two cast members, DP, production designer, sound, and then I had some volunteers. So like my best friend, my partner, and then someone who wanted like art experience. So it's you don't have a lot, you don't have enough to pay people what you would want to. I think like I wish I paid my DP more, But I think everyone who signs on to do a project like this is like they just want to help bring us, like, it's like a passion project. Like they want to bring the story to life. And so it's not always about the money, but yeah, I used up all my money. Like we had like a crazy craft table. Like so it's just yeah, you don't make money. You spend all your money to make your film better. So yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was a similar experience with my set. I think as well, when you make casting and crew calls, it's really, really important to say voluntary, and to say if meals and craft will be provided. That way, people know kind of the situation and the budget of the film. I was able to pay some small honorariums and then a little more for key people. But yeah, craft goes a long way. If you give like someone a hot meal, some coffee, if you have an early like call time, you're good to go.
Yeah, coffee is a must to have on set for sure. Do we have any more questions, Aram, or
We have to chat. I- come to a local from Durham. They're looking at funding, transportation costs, and festival. Um, you would have to cover your own. I think if you mean attending the festival in November, you would have to make arrangements for attending. And I think you mean, do you mean Durham, Durham region in Ontario? I'm guessing. Unless that's Durham somewhere else. While I wait for Maple to clarify, if there's any other questions. Okay, great. All right. Maybe we can just review the timeline, the deadlines real quick, Joe. Throw that up here at the end.
Sure. So our program timeline again for this application process, April 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll know if you're shortlisted by the 26th, so a week from then. And the program, or sorry, the interviews will start in the early weeks of May. And the actual program
that's
starts.
an online interview, by the way, too, like a Zoom call.
And the program will start on May 16th. And the actual classes will begin May 21st. And as we mentioned before, the production will start June 26th to 26th of July. Post-production will be from the July 29th to August 30th. And the festival will be November 16th. That's where the film that you made will be on the big screen.
Which is a Saturday. So get your popcorn ready. Maybe just real quick, as we kind of end it off and give people last chance to put in a question. What was it like to watch your film at the festival, Korean when it was on there?
It was surreal. I was anxious throughout the entire screening. But it was a really incredible experience. You have like a theater full of people. I was fortunate to have friends and family there. And the audience is just very lively. I think at one point an audience member like gasped at one of like my characters revealing something, and everyone like burst out into laughter, and I think I'll like remember that forever. Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Because I mean, I'm from here, so I had a lot of friends and family who can make it. And they knew this had consumed me the entire summer, right? So it was just really nice to finally show everyone what we were making this entire time. I was just waiting for people to laugh, but I think the opposite happened, which is fine. But yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice. And also, I just want to say it was really nice to see Kareen in person. I just remember, like, finally, when I saw you, we were like, Kareen, and you were like, Kathy. So yeah, it was just nice to be with the cohort as well.
Yeah, no, the festival, when it comes around, it's very fun, especially like what Corinne mentioned. She just saw everyone in like a box online and then meeting everyone in person. You feel like, you feel good meeting people that you've been working with throughout the whole 2, 3 months. And when you see your screen up on the big screen, it shows everyone's accomplishments, and the feeling is always great. And so we'd like to conclude today's info session. We want to thank everyone for coming. If you'd like, please follow us on Instagram to stay updated on anything Unsung Voices related, Real Asian related. or visit realasian.com and go under the education tab, and you'll find more about our Unsung Voices program. All right. Thanks, everyone, and have a rest of a great evening.